Ew, that black skin doesn't belong here? Victoria Sterling Whitmore's voice cuts through the Plaza Hotel ballroom as 47,000 viewers watch her live stream. She aims her phone at an elegantly dressed black man examining the tech displays. "Guys, look at this joke." She marches toward him, designer heels clicking on marble. "Someone's pretending to be important." The man maintains his composure as Victoria steps directly in front of him, blocking his view. She holds up her pale arm to the camera, then points at his face. "See the difference? This is what success looks like." Her voice drips with contempt. Nearby executives stop talking. Her live stream explodes with comments as she continues filming his reaction. "Real wealth stays white, honey. Always has, always will." The crystal chandeliers catch her cruel smile as she delivers the words that would destroy her family's $3.7 billion empire within hours. The Sterling Whitmore name gleams in gold letters across the plaza's entrance banners. Tonight's Tech Innovation Gala represents the intersection of old money and new digital power, where billion-dollar infrastructure deals get decided over champagne. Victoria Sterling Whitmore embodies fifth-generation wealth with effortless arrogance. Her family's $3.7 billion empire spans luxury hotels, tech investments, and digital media platforms. As Chief Digital Innovation Officer, she earns millions promoting family ventures to her 3.8 million social media followers. Her Instagram showcases the old money meets new tech lifestyle, private jets to Silicon Valley, diamond-encrusted phones, designer gowns at tech conferences. Every post influences Sterling Whitmore stock prices as her young followers invest based on her recommendations. The plaza's grand ballroom buzzes with Manhattan's power elite. Tech CEOs discuss cloud computing contracts worth billions. Venture capitalists evaluate cryptocurrency platforms. Hotel magnates negotiate digital transformation partnerships. The air crackles with conversations that reshape entire industries. Sterling Whitmore Industries depends entirely on these relationships. Their 340 luxury hotels run on sophisticated booking systems, processing $50 million monthly. Their cryptocurrency investment platform requires massive cloud infrastructure. Their streaming media empire serves 12 million subscribers through complex data networks. Victoria moves through the crowd like royalty, phone always recording. Her live streams from these events generate massive engagement, translating directly into family business success. She knows every face, every company, every potential partnership that could affect Sterling Whitmore's future. The quantum computing display attracts serious attention from industry leaders. These machines represent the future of data processing, capable of calculations that traditional computers cannot handle. Sterling Whitmore's upcoming projects depend on accessing this technology through strategic partnerships. Crystal champagne flutes catch the light as waiters navigate between groups discussing artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, and digital infrastructure. The conversations happening tonight will determine which companies dominate the next decade of technological advancement. Victoria pauses her live stream to greet Harrison Sterling Whitmore III, her father and company CEO. His silver hair and custom Armani suit command immediate respect from nearby tech executives. He built the family empire through calculated risks and strategic partnerships, expanding from traditional hotels into digital dominance. "The CloudCore presentation is starting soon," Harrison mentions quietly. "Make sure you capture content for the followers. This partnership could define our digital future." CloudCore Technologies represents the holy grail of cloud computing partnerships. Their infrastructure powers half of Fortune 500 companies, making them essential for any serious digital transformation. Sterling Whitmore has courted this partnership for months, knowing it could unlock billions in new revenue streams. Victoria nods, already planning her social media angles. Her followers love behind-the-scenes tech content, especially when she explains complex partnerships in simple terms. These posts consistently generate her highest engagement rates and most significant business impact. The ballroom's atmosphere grows more electric as presentations begin. LED screens display real-time market data and cryptocurrency prices. Augmented reality demonstrations show tomorrow's digital possibilities. QR codes link to exclusive investment opportunities available only to tonight's attendees. Tech journalists weave through crowds, capturing quotes and announcements that will move markets tomorrow. Social media influencers live stream conversations with industry leaders, broadcasting insider information to millions of followers worldwide. The intersection of business and digital media creates unprecedented transparency in high-stakes negotiations. Victoria recognizes most faces from previous events, the usual suspects of inherited wealth mixing with self-made tech billionaires. Old money families like hers need new money partnerships to stay relevant in rapidly evolving digital markets. Tonight's connections determine tomorrow's competitive advantages. The quantum computing area draws her attention again. A small crowd surrounds the demonstration, asking technical questions about processing capabilities and infrastructure requirements. These conversations directly impact Sterling Whitmore's plans for data-intensive cryptocurrency operations and AI-powered hotel management systems. She raises her phone, preparing to resume live streaming. Her followers expect constant updates from exclusive events like this. They live vicariously through her access to power and privilege, hanging on every word from tech leaders and business moguls. The ballroom's energy builds toward the evening's main presentations. CloudCore's announcement tops everyone's agenda, promising revolutionary advances in computing power and data processing efficiency. For Sterling Whitmore Industries, securing access to these capabilities represents the difference between continued dominance and gradual obsolescence. Victoria spots an unfamiliar face near the quantum display, an elegantly dressed black man asking sophisticated technical questions. His presence seems purposeful, confident, though she doesn't recognize him from her usual social circles or business networks. Her finger hovers over the live stream button as opportunity presents itself. Her followers love exclusive content, especially when she can provide insider commentary on industry developments and social dynamics. Tonight's event offers perfect material for viral social media content. The stage is set for digital empire collision. Victoria's finger hits the live stream button as her viewer count climbs rapidly. The notification pings across her 3.8 million followers, live from exclusive tech gala, Insider Access. We're back, gorgeous people. Her voice carries that practiced influencer enthusiasm. 47,000 of you watching already! You know Mama delivers the best content! Comments flood the screen as she pans across the ballroom's glittering crowd. Her followers worship these glimpses into Manhattan's power circles, living vicariously through her privileged access. So there's this situation happening right now, Victoria continues, zooming toward the quantum computing display. Someone's definitely in the wrong place tonight. She approaches Damon Washington, who stands absorbed in examining the technical specifications. His tailored tuxedo fits perfectly. His questions to the presenter demonstrate deep understanding of cloud architecture and data processing capabilities. Excuse me, Victoria interrupts loudly, the phone camera capturing everything. Are you lost? The service entrance is around the back. Damon turns calmly, his expression remaining professional despite the obvious insult. I'm examining the quantum computing demonstration. Fascinating technology. Oh, you're examining it? Victoria's voice drips sarcasm as her viewer count hits 78,000. That's adorable. Guys, look at this! Someone thinks he belongs at a tech innovation event. She reads comments aloud, selecting the supportive ones. Tech Princess says, keep our spaces pure. Exactly right, babe. Her followers encourage the confrontation, their comments growing increasingly hostile. I'm genuinely curious, Victoria continues, circling him like a predator. How exactly did someone like you afford the $10,000 ticket? Did you borrow Daddy's credit card? Nearby, conversations pause as guests notice the commotion. Some pull out phones, unsure whether they're witnessing social media content or actual harassment. Victoria's live stream provides perfect documentation of her escalating aggression. Look, I don't want trouble, Damon responds quietly. I'm here for the presentations. Trouble? Victoria laughs, the sound sharp against the ballroom's elegant ambiance. Honey, you are trouble. This is exactly why we need better security screening. She gestures broadly to her phone camera. My family built this industry, guys. Sterling Whitmore Industries has been setting standards for decades. We know quality when we see it. The irony strikes observers who recognize the quantum display, CloudCore Technology's latest innovation, representing exactly the kind of advanced infrastructure that powers modern digital empires. Security! Victoria calls loudly, attracting embarrassed stares from other guests. "We have someone who clearly doesn't belong here." Two uniformed guards approach reluctantly, recognizing the Sterling Whitmore name but uncomfortable with the obvious discrimination. Victoria's live stream viewer count explodes to 127,000 as word spreads across social media platforms. "Ma'am, is there a problem?" the lead security guard asks diplomatically. "This person," Victoria points dramatically at Damon, "is making me extremely uncomfortable. I want to see his invitation. People like him don't just show up at events like this." "People like me?" Damon's voice remains level, though his jaw tightens slightly. "Oh, don't play innocent." Victoria's voice rises as she reads more supportive comments. "You know exactly what I mean. This is a tech innovation gala, not a diversity photo opportunity." The crowd around them grows larger, phones appearing as guests realize they're witnessing something significant. Victoria's racism plays out in real time before a rapidly expanding audience. "I have every right to be here," Damon states clearly, his hand moving subtly to activate his phone's recording function. "Rights?" Victoria scoffs. "Based on what qualifications? Did you even finish high school? Can you spell cryptocurrency without autocorrect?" Her followers flood the comments with laughing emojis and fire symbols. The live stream's viral potential builds as viewers share clips across Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. #Sterling Whitmore Gala begins trending. "Ma'am, perhaps we could handle this more discreetly," the security guard suggests, growing increasingly uncomfortable with the public nature of the confrontation. "Discreetly?" Victoria's eyes flash. "Why should I be discreet about protecting our community standards? My family invested billions in this industry. We deserve to feel safe in our own spaces." She turns back to her camera, addressing her audience directly. "This is exactly what's wrong with forced diversity, guys. Some people just don't have the cultural background to understand how business really works." Damon's recording captures every word as Victoria continues her tirade. Other guests begin their own documentation, creating multiple evidence streams of the escalating discrimination. "Look at those clothes," Victoria points mockingly. "Probably rented for tonight. I bet he Googled how to dress for rich people events and still got it wrong." "My attire seems appropriate for the occasion," Damon responds calmly, his professional composure contrasting sharply with Victoria's hysteria. "Appropriate?" Victoria laughs harshly. "Honey, appropriateness isn't just about clothes. It's about breeding, education, family history, things you clearly lack." The quantum computing presenter stops mid-demonstration, disturbed by the nearby commotion. Tech executives exchange uncomfortable glances, recognizing the discriminatory nature of Victoria's behavior but uncertain how to intervene. "Check his pockets," Victoria demands security. "I bet he's trying to steal proprietary information. That's probably why he's really here. Industrial espionage." The security guards look increasingly uncomfortable with her requests. "Ma'am, we can't search someone without reasonable cause." "Reasonable cause?" Victoria's voice reaches a higher pitch. "Look at him. Everything about this screams suspicious. I'm calling my father right now." She dials Harrison Sterling Whitmore on speakerphone, ensuring her live stream captures everything. "Daddy, there's a major security situation at the gala. Someone completely inappropriate got past screening." Harrison's voice crackles through the phone, strained with embarrassment. "Victoria, handle this quietly. We discussed maintaining professional appearances." "Professional," Victoria argues publicly. "What's professional about letting random people infiltrate our exclusive events? This person clearly has no business background, no technical education, probably no college degree." The live stream viewer count peaks at 156,000 as clips spread virally across social media platforms. Victoria's explicit assumptions reach unprecedented audiences, documented from multiple angles by shocked witnesses. "Ma'am, we really should move this conversation somewhere private," the lead security guard pleads, recognizing the situation's explosive potential. "Private?" Victoria's indignation reaches fever pitch. "Why should I hide from protecting our community standards? Look at him. Does he look like he belongs with tech innovators and Fortune 500 CEOs? Damon maintains his dignity throughout the assault, his calm responses highlighting Victoria's unhinged behavior. His sophisticated questions about quantum technology contrast starkly with her assumptions about his intelligence and background. "I want everyone to understand something," Victoria declares to her camera, positioning herself for maximum dramatic effect. "This black skin represents everything wrong with letting the wrong people into our world." The ballroom falls silent as her explicitly racist words echo through the space. Even her most supportive followers begin posting concerned comments as the livestream preserves her discrimination for posterity. "Real wealth and success will always be white," she continues, sealing her fate with each word. "Some people need to know their place, and I'll make sure everyone remembers that." Crystal chandeliers illuminate the frozen tableau. Victoria's triumphant smile, Damon's maintained dignity, and the shocked faces of Manhattan's tech elite witnessing privilege destroy itself in real time. The moment hangs suspended, charged with the tension of impending consequence. Victoria's racist proclamation spreads like wildfire across social media platforms. Her live stream clips multiply exponentially as viewers screenshot, share, and react with horror to her explicit skin color commentary. The hashtag #SterlingWhitmoreRacist begins trending globally within minutes. "Look at these comments, guys," Victoria reads from her screen, oblivious to the growing backlash. "Purebred Princess says, 'Finally someone with courage to speak the truth. So many of you understand what real standards mean.'" She deliberately ignores the flood of criticism drowning her supportive comments. Thousands of viewers share clips across TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram with captions like "Rich Girl Destroys Herself Live" and "Racism in Real Time at Tech Gala." The ballroom's atmosphere grows increasingly uncomfortable as more guests recognize the severity of Victoria's behavior. Tech executives whisper urgently among themselves, some discreetly leaving to avoid association with the unfolding disaster. "This is insane," Victoria continues to her camera, gesturing at Damon. "Look how he's just standing there, pretending he belongs. The audacity is literally unbelievable." Her phone displays her soaring follower count, which she misinterprets as support. 3.9 million followers now. You guys love watching Mama handle inappropriate situations. Damon's phone records everything while displaying sophisticated market analysis software on his screen. His calm monitoring of Sterling Whitmore's stock price in real time hints at financial expertise that contradicts Victoria's assumptions completely. "Ma'am, please lower your voice," the security guard pleads, sweat beading on his forehead. "Other guests are complaining about the disturbance." "Complaining?" Victoria's voice rises higher. "They should be thanking me for maintaining standards. This is exactly why our industry needs better gatekeeping mechanisms." Her viewer count explodes to 203,000 as the racist livestream becomes the most viral content trending across multiple platforms. News outlets begin picking up the story from social media, recognizing its explosive potential for national headlines. "I'm texting the venue manager right now," Victoria announces while typing furiously. "Sterling Whitmore Industries spends millions on events here. They'll listen when I explain the security breach." She holds up her phone, showing the message thread. "See this, guys? Real influence means people take action when you identify problems. Watch how fast they respond to serious money." The venue manager appears within minutes, his face flushed with anxiety. "Miss Sterling Whitmore, how can we assist you tonight?" "Finally!" Victoria exclaims triumphantly. "Remove this person immediately. He's clearly not supposed to be here, and I won't tolerate feeling unsafe at family events." "Ma'am, we've verified his invitation," the manager responds carefully. "All attendees were properly screened and approved." "Impossible!" Victoria's indignation reaches new heights. "Show me the guest list. I want to see exactly how someone like him obtained access to our exclusive gathering." She grabs the manager's tablet, scrolling through names while live streaming. "Look at these names, guys. All the right people, all the right families. So where's the mistake that let this situation happen?" Damon's sophisticated questions to nearby tech presenters reveal deep industry knowledge that contrasts sharply with Victoria's racist characterizations. His understanding of cloud infrastructure and data processing capabilities suggests significant business background. "This is ridiculous," Victoria declares to her live stream. "Nobody with that skin color has legitimate business at tech innovation events. It's obviously some diversity quota nonsense gone wrong." The explicit racism shocks even guests accustomed to privilege and exclusivity. Several prominent attendees begin posting their own content condemning Victoria's behavior, creating counter-narratives that spread rapidly across social networks. "I'm calling board members right now," Victoria announces, scrolling through her contacts. "Sterling Whitmore's reputation depends on maintaining appropriate associations and excluding problematic elements." She dials on speakerphone while live streaming. "Hi, Margaret, it's Victoria. We have a major situation at tonight's gala that requires immediate board intervention." The board member's voice sounds strained through the speaker. "Victoria, we're already receiving calls about your live stream. Perhaps you should end the broadcast and handle this privately." "Privately?" Victoria laughs harshly. "Why would I hide from protecting our company values? Transparency builds trust with our stakeholder community." Her live stream preserves every racist statement for legal documentation while simultaneously destroying her family's business relationships in real time. The irony escapes her completely as she continues broadcasting her own downfall. Major tech journalists present at the gala begin live tweeting the confrontation with detailed threads about racism in elite business circles. Their professional networks amplify the story across industry publications and mainstream media outlets. "Look at my engagement metrics," Victoria celebrates, showing her phone screen. "Millions of views across platforms. This is exactly the kind of content that builds authentic influence." She fails to recognize that her growth comes from hate-watching rather than genuine support. The viral clips generate millions of views, but the comments sections explode with outrage and condemnation rather than praise. "This black skin situation represents everything wrong with modern business culture," Victoria declares, pointing directly at Damon. "Real innovation comes from people with proper backgrounds and appropriate breeding." She steps closer to him, her phone camera capturing his composed reaction. "Look at how he's trying to act professional, like he actually understands the technology he's pretending to examine." Damon's phone displays sophisticated financial analysis tools tracking Sterling Whitmore's declining after-hours stock price. His calm monitoring suggests institutional knowledge that contradicts every assumption Victoria has made about his background and capabilities. "Ma'am, I strongly recommend ending this conversation," the venue manager urges desperately. "Several major sponsors have expressed concerns about the current situation." "Concerns?" Victoria's voice reaches shrieking levels. "They should have concerns about security failures, not about me protecting everyone's safety and comfort." The tech industry's collective response builds momentum across social media platforms. Major companies begin internal discussions about Sterling Whitmore partnerships, while Victoria continues destroying her family's reputation live on camera. "I want everyone to see exactly what we're dealing with," Victoria announces, circling Damon with her camera. "This is what happens when you lower standards and let inappropriate people into serious business environments." Other guests document the confrontation from multiple angles, creating comprehensive evidence packages that will soon have devastating consequences. Victoria's racist statements become permanently preserved across dozens of recording devices. "Security, I'm ordering you to search his pockets," Victoria demands. "I guarantee he's trying to steal proprietary information or take unauthorized photos of our trade secrets." The security team exchanges uncomfortable glances, recognizing their impossible position between Victoria's family influence and obvious discrimination. Their hesitation only fuels her growing rage as the live stream documents everything. "This is exactly what's wrong with society today," Victoria shouts to her camera. "Real success requires real standards, and some people will never meet those requirements, no matter how hard they pretend." Her viewer count peaks at 287,000 as the racist meltdown becomes the most viral business content in social media history. The live stream preserves every word for the legal consequences that will soon follow. "I want everyone watching to understand something important," Victoria addresses her camera with evangelical fervor. "This is about preserving standards that built American business success. Some people simply don't have the intellectual capacity for innovation leadership." Damon makes a quiet phone call, speaking in measured tones that suggest institutional authority. "This is Washington. Yes, I'm ready to proceed with the situation we discussed. Have legal standing by. Tonight's developments require immediate action." The mention of legal teams and institutional responses hints at resources that completely contradict Victoria's racist assumptions about his position and power in the business world. The ballroom tension reaches a breaking point as Victoria's live stream creates permanent documentation of her family's corporate culture and values. As Damon ends his quiet phone call, a convoy of black executive vehicles pulls up to the plaza's entrance. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, guests watch as corporate executives emerge, including legal teams carrying urgent documentation and senior leadership from major tech companies. Victoria's live stream viewer count explodes to 350,000 as people sense something dramatic approaching. "Look at all those cars, guys. Probably more security is coming to handle this situation properly." The ballroom's massive doors swing open as Harrison Sterling Whitmore III rushes inside, his face ashen from emergency board calls. His silver hair appears disheveled, his usual commanding presence replaced by barely controlled panic. "Victoria, stop this immediately!" he calls across the room, his voice cutting through the elegant chatter. "Daddy!" Victoria waves her phone camera toward him. "Perfect timing. I'm handling a major security breach that threatens our family reputation." Harrison approaches rapidly, his expensive Italian leather shoes clicking against the marble floors. As he nears the confrontation, his eyes lock onto Damon's face. The blood drains completely from his features. "Mr. Washington." Harrison's voice drops to a horrified whisper. "CEO Washington. Dear God, what has she done?" The words hit Victoria like a physical blow. Her confident smile falters as confusion spreads across her face. "CEO? What are you talking about, Daddy?" "Victoria," Harrison's voice trembles with terror. "You've been harassing Damon Washington, Chief Executive Officer of CloudCore Technologies." The revelation explodes across her live stream as 400,000 viewers witness the moment of recognition. Victoria's phone nearly slips from her shaking hands as the devastating truth crashes over her. CloudCore Technologies, the name every tech executive in the room recognizes instantly. The company provides 87% of Sterling Whitmore Industries' entire digital infrastructure, the backbone supporting their $2.3 billion annual operations. "That's impossible," Victoria stammers, her voice barely audible above the ballroom's sudden silence. "He can't be... Look at him. His skin. His skin?" Damon's voice carries clearly across the space as he addresses her camera directly. "You mean this black skin that runs the company keeping your family empire operational?" The ballroom erupts in whispered conversations as tech executives recognize the catastrophic magnitude of Victoria's mistake. Phones appear everywhere, documenting the moment a racist heiress discovers she's destroyed her own family. Damon's legal team enters through the main doors, led by CloudCore's General Counsel Sarah Carter. They carry tablets displaying termination documents and legal notices prepared for this exact scenario. "Miss Sterling Whitmore," Sarah announces formally, "CloudCore Technologies is exercising immediate termination of all service agreements with Sterling Whitmore Industries, effective tonight." "No!" Harrison's voice cracks with desperation. "Please, this is a misunderstanding. Victoria doesn't represent company policy." "Your daughter's live stream suggests otherwise," Damon responds calmly. Her explicit statements about black skin and business capability indicate institutional cultural problems. Victoria's live stream captures her complete emotional collapse as the implications dawn. Without CloudCore's infrastructure, Sterling Whitmore's digital empire faces immediate shutdown. Hotel booking systems, cryptocurrency platforms, streaming services, everything depends on the company she just racially attacked. "The termination includes," Sarah continues reading from her tablet, "all cloud hosting services worth $2, $3 billion annually, data storage contracts supporting 340 hotel properties and infrastructure hosting your cryptocurrency platform." "This black skin," Damon addresses Victoria's camera directly, "controls the technology keeping your family business alive. Let me show you what real power looks like." He signals to his team, who begin presenting termination documents to Harrison. The legal papers represent the immediate death of Sterling Whitmore's digital operations and financial future. "Please," Victoria whispers, her earlier arrogance completely evaporating. "I didn't know. I made a mistake." "A mistake?" Damon's voice remains professional but firm. You broadcast explicit racism to nearly 500,000 viewers. You declared that success would always be white. You mocked my skin color while depending on my company's services. The live stream viewer count peaks at 487,000 as people worldwide watch Victoria's empire crumble in real time. Her racist statements, preserved forever across multiple platforms, become the evidence destroying her family's fortune. Your hotel booking systems will shut down at midnight, Sarah announces. Cryptocurrency platform services terminate immediately. Media streaming infrastructure goes offline within 6 hours. Harrison collapses into a nearby chair as the magnitude hits him. 40 years of business building destroyed by his daughter's 3-minute racist tirade. The irony cuts deeply. The black man she mocked controls their survival. Stock price is already falling, Damon mentions casually, checking his phone. Down 67% in after-hours trading. The market responds quickly to institutional racism exposure. Victoria's phone trembles in her hands as she watches her live-stream comments explode with reactions. The girl who declared white superiority now faces losing everything to the black CEO she targeted. "I'm sorry," she whispers, but the words sound hollow against the permanent documentation of her racism. "Sorry, don't rebuild burned bridges," Damon responds. "Your statements revealed character, not momentary judgment. CloudCore cannot associate with companies promoting racial discrimination." The ballroom watches in stunned silence as Manhattan's tech elite witness the fastest corporate collapse in business history. Victoria's explicit racism about skin color triggers immediate consequences that will reshape industry standards forever. This is what accountability looks like in the modern business world. Damon addresses the live stream audience directly. Racism destroys everything it touches, including the racist. The crystal chandeliers illuminate Victoria's tears as her billion-dollar empire dies live on camera. Victoria's live stream becomes a digital crime scene as 487,000 viewers watch her family's empire collapse in real time. Within minutes of Damon's revelation, her phone explodes with notifications as sponsors terminate contracts worth $2.1 million annually. "This can't be happening," Victoria whispers, scrolling through cancellation emails flooding her inbox. Chanel, Hermes, Tesla, they're all pulling out. Her social media empire transforms from asset to liability as brands race to distance themselves from her racist statements. The girl who built millions through influence marketing watches her income evaporate before 500,000 witnesses. Harrison Sterling Whitmore clutches his chest as his phone rings incessantly with emergency board calls. "Sterling Whitmore stock is in free fall," he gasps to his assistant. "Halt all trading immediately." The market responds with devastating efficiency to Victoria's racism. Sterling Whitmore Industries' stock price plummets from $127 to $31 per share as investors flee the toxic association. 40 years of business building destroyed by 3 minutes of live-streamed hatred. CloudCore's termination triggers automatic cancellation clauses, Damon explains to the shocked audience. Sterling Whitmore's entire digital infrastructure depends on our services. Hotel booking systems begin shutting down across 340 properties worldwide. The plaza's own manager receives urgent calls as Sterling Whitmore's reservation platform goes offline, stranding thousands of guests with confirmed bookings. "Daddy, fix this!" Victoria pleads desperately. "Call your lawyers! Make them honor their contracts!" "There are no contracts to honor," Harrison's voice breaks completely. "Discrimination clauses void everything. Your racism just bankrupted our family." The cryptocurrency platform Sterling Whitmore invested $890 million developing crashes as CloudCore terminates hosting services. Digital wallets freeze, investor funds disappear, and regulatory investigations begin automatically when major platforms fail. Victoria's livestream preserves every moment of the financial apocalypse. Her viewer count remains steady at 400,000 plus as people worldwide watch privilege face real consequences for racist behavior. Amazon Web Services just terminated our backup contracts, Harrison announces, reading urgent messages. Microsoft canceled software licensing worth $180 million. Google removed our properties from search results. The tech industry's collective response creates an unprecedented corporate isolation. Major companies implement immediate policies distancing themselves from Sterling Whitmore's racist leadership, triggering cascade failures across all business sectors. This is what happens when racism meets modern accountability. Damon addresses Victoria's camera directly. Your explicit statements about black skin created permanent evidence of institutional discrimination. Victoria's streaming services go offline next, affecting 12 million subscribers who lose access to content libraries worth billions. Customer service phones flood with complaints as the Sterling Whitmore media empire disintegrates in real time. Legal wants to speak with you immediately, Harrison's assistant whispers urgently. SEC investigations, civil rights violations, shareholder lawsuits, the exposure is unlimited. The Security and Exchange Commission opens emergency investigations into Victoria's market manipulation through racist statements. Her live stream becomes federal evidence as investigators examine whether discrimination constitutes securities fraud. My trust fund. Victoria checks her banking app with shaking hands. It's all tied to company stock, 89% losses in 4 hours. The heiress who mocked black skin for not belonging watches her inherited fortune evaporate. Her trust fund, worth $47 million that morning, now shows $5.2 million and falling rapidly. CloudCore's stock price rises 34% as investors recognize their principled leadership and dominant market position. Damon's decisive action against racism attracts massive investment from ESG-focused funds supporting diverse leadership. Hotel employees are walking out, Harrison reports numbly. 12 locations already, more threatened. They refuse to work for companies promoting racial discrimination. The workforce rebellion spreads across Sterling Whitmore properties as employees share Victoria's racist clips internally. Staff walkouts force hotel closures, restaurant shutdowns, and complete operational breakdowns. Vendor contracts worth $340 million canceled tonight, the corporate attorney reports via speakerphone. Food suppliers, maintenance companies, technology partners, everyone's invoking discrimination clauses. Victoria's social media accounts face permanent suspension as platforms implement community standards violations. Her 3.8 million followers watch her final posts before Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube remove her completely. International partners in 23 countries terminated agreements. Harrison continues reading termination notices. European Union, Asian markets, Canadian authorities, we're globally blacklisted. The live stream finally ends as Victoria's phone battery dies, but the damage spreads permanently across saved videos and news coverage. Her explicit racism becomes eternal internet evidence, preserved forever across multiple platforms. This represents the new standard for corporate accountability, Damon tells assembled journalists. Racism faces immediate consequences regardless of wealth or privilege. The ballroom empties as guests flee association with the Sterling Whitmore disaster. Victoria sits alone among crystal chandeliers, her billion-dollar empire reduced to rubble by her own words. The girl who declared success would always be white now faces losing everything to the black CEO she targeted. Within 48 hours of Victoria's racist live stream, Sterling Whitmore became the most toxic brand in corporate America. No company will risk association with a family whose heiress broadcast explicit skin color discrimination to 500,000 viewers. Federal investigators launch comprehensive reviews of Sterling Whitmore's business practices, discovering Victoria's racism reflected broader institutional problems. FBI forensic accountants uncover systematic discrimination across all company divisions. Internal emails reveal patterns of excluding minority-owned businesses, lead investigator agent Sarah Martinez announces at a press conference. The Sterling Whitmore culture enabled discriminatory practices for decades. Newly discovered company documents show hiring practices that deliberately avoided diverse candidates. Board meeting recordings contain additional racist statements from family members. Vendor selection processes systematically undervalued minority-owned suppliers. The Department of Justice files a massive civil rights lawsuit seeking $2.8 billion in damages. Victoria's live stream becomes Exhibit A in demonstrating institutional racism that violated federal employment and contracting laws. This case represents the largest corporate civil rights prosecution in U.S. history, Attorney General Williams states. Discrimination destroys businesses from within, and accountability protects everyone's economic rights. International consequences expand beyond U.S. borders as global partners reject Sterling Whitmore entirely. European Union regulators void contracts worth €3.1 billion, citing violations of anti-discrimination trade agreements. Canadian authorities revoked business licenses for 17 hotel properties, the International Trade Representative reports. Australian partners terminated joint ventures affecting $670 million in assets. Victoria faces personal criminal charges as federal prosecutors argue her live stream constituted hate crime harassment. The explicit nature of her skin color mockery creates an airtight case under federal civil rights statutes. The defendant broadcast racial hatred to 487,000 viewers while systematically harassing a victim based solely on skin color. Prosecutor David Carter argues in court. This represents textbook hate crime behavior. Cloudcore Technologies emerges as the moral leader of the tech industry. Damon's principled response attracts $4.7 billion in new contracts from companies abandoning Sterling Whitmore partnerships. Principled leadership drives business success, Damon tells industry publications. Companies supporting equality attract top talent, major investments, and customer loyalty. The tech industry adopts the Washington standard. Immediate termination of business relationships with companies exhibiting racist leadership. Fortune 500 companies implement similar policies requiring anti-discrimination commitments from all partners. Sterling Whitmore Industries files for bankruptcy within 60 days as cascading business losses create insurmountable debt. The company that once controlled $3.7 billion in assets cannot secure credit from any financial institution. Total losses exceed $8.9 billion when including canceled contracts and partnership terminations. Bankruptcy trustee Robert Kim reports. The discrimination liability makes reorganization impossible. Victoria's criminal trial becomes a national spectacle as her racist live stream plays repeatedly in federal court. The explicit skin color mockery shocks jurors who award maximum sentences under hate crime statutes. 18 months federal imprisonment for civil rights violations, Judge Patricia Rodriguez announces, plus $2.7 million in fines and victim compensation. The sentence includes 2,000 hours of community service, specifically in predominantly black neighborhoods. Victoria must work directly with communities she publicly denigrated, learning about dignity and respect through forced interaction. Lifetime ban from holding corporate positions or board seats, the judge continues. The defendant's racism demonstrates unfitness for business leadership. Heiress and Sterling Whitmore faces separate prosecution for enabling institutional discrimination. His 40-year business empire crumbles as prosecutors demonstrate systematic civil rights violations under his leadership. 12 years federal imprisonment for conspiracy to violate civil rights, the judge sentences Harrison. Corporate leaders bear responsibility for institutional discrimination. The family's complete financial ruin includes seizure of Manhattan penthouses, Hamptons estates, art collections, and luxury assets. Federal marshals auction everything to fund victim compensation programs. Personal bankruptcy proceedings strip remaining assets, Court Administrator Lisa Park announces. The Sterling Whitmore name is permanently associated with corporate racism. Harvard Business School, Wharton, and Stanford create mandatory case studies examining how Victoria's 3-minute racist live stream destroyed a $3.7 billion empire. The case becomes required reading in corporate ethics programs worldwide. The Sterling Whitmore case demonstrates how individual racism destroys institutional value, Professor Michael Carter explains to his MBA students. Character determines corporate success more than inherited wealth. The Securities and Exchange Commission implements new regulations requiring diversity reporting and anti-racism policies for all public companies. Victoria's case triggers comprehensive business regulation reform. Corporate leadership diversity becomes mandatory reporting under new SEC guidelines, Commissioner Janet Williams announces. Investors deserve transparency about company values and discrimination risks. The Federal Trade Commission investigates advertising practices of companies with discriminatory leadership. Victoria's influence marketing becomes evidence of how racism corrupts business communication and customer relationships. International trade agreements include anti-discrimination compliance requirements based on the Sterling Whitmore precedent. Global business standards now screen for racist leadership before approving partnerships. The Washington protocols become international standard practice, Trade Representative David Liu reports. 34 countries adopt anti-discrimination requirements for business relationships. Damon's response empowers other victims of corporate racism to speak out publicly. His example triggers 340 additional cases of documented workplace discrimination across major industries. The Washington Foundation provides legal aid for discrimination victims, Damon announces, using settlement funds to support civil rights litigation. Technology creates accountability, but people must demand justice. Industry-wide settlements total $890 million paid to discrimination victims across multiple sectors. Victoria's case opens floodgates for suppressed racism claims that corporations can no longer ignore or cover up. Zero-tolerance policies for discriminatory behavior become industry standard, Equal Employment Opportunity Commission Director Sandra Martinez reports. The Sterling Whitmore effect eliminates tolerance for workplace racism. Victoria's explicit racism about skin color reshapes American conversations about privilege and accountability. Her case proves that modern technology creates immediate consequences for discriminatory behavior regardless of wealth or social position. Racist behavior faces real-time accountability in our interconnected economy, civil rights leader Dr. Patricia Johnson explains. Victoria's live stream demonstrates how technology empowers justice. The tech industry invests heavily in diversity initiatives following CloudCore's moral leadership example. Company valuations increasingly reflect diversity metrics as investors recognize correlation between inclusive leadership and business success. ESG investing prioritizes companies with diverse leadership, investment analyst Robert Kim explains. The Sterling Whitmore collapse proves discrimination destroys shareholder value. Major corporations require anti-racism training for all executives as standard practice. Business schools mandate diversity education in leadership programs to prevent future Sterling Whitmore disasters. Corporate America learned that racism kills business. Business ethics professor Dr. Sarah Carter observes. Victoria's case created permanent accountability standards. The case establishes legal precedents for prosecuting live-streamed hate crimes and corporate discrimination. Federal courts now routinely use social media evidence in civil rights prosecutions. Digital evidence creates comprehensive documentation of discriminatory behavior, federal prosecutor Lisa Martinez explains. Technology ensures accountability for racist actions. Victoria's live stream becomes permanent evidence in the National Archives, preserved as historical documentation of how racism destroys everything it touches, including the racists themselves. 1 year later, Victoria Sterling Whitmore stands behind the counter at the Brooklyn Community Center, sorting donated clothes into bins. Her court-mandated orange vest reads, "Community Service, Federal Offender" in bold letters across the back. The woman who once commanded 3.8 million followers now lives in a 400-square-foot studio apartment, her $47 million trust fund completely depleted. Public transportation replaces private jets. Food stamps supplement her minimum wage earnings. "Miss Sterling Whitmore, these winter coats need organizing by size," supervises Maria Rodriguez, the center director whose grandmother Victoria would have dismissed as help just months ago. "Yes, ma'am," Victoria responds quietly, her manicured nails now chipped from honest work. The heiress who mocked black skin for not belonging now depends on the patience of communities she once denigrated. Her daily routine includes serving meals to homeless families, teaching basic computer skills to elderly immigrants, and cleaning facilities she would never have entered as a privileged socialite. Each interaction forces recognition of humanity she systematically ignored. Meanwhile, Damon Washington presides over CloudCore Technologies' stunning expansion. The company's valuation reaches $47 billion as principled leadership attracts unprecedented investment and talent acquisition from across the tech industry. Moral courage drives business success, Damon explains to Harvard Business School students via video conference. Victoria's racism revealed character, while CloudCore's response demonstrated values that create competitive advantages. CloudCore's decisive action against discrimination attracts top engineers, major contracts, and massive investment from ESG-focused funds. The company now powers digital infrastructure for 60% of Fortune 500 companies. The Sterling Whitmore name disappears completely from Manhattan's business landscape. Their former penthouse becomes affordable housing. Hotel properties operate under new ownership committed to diversity and inclusion. Harrison Sterling Whitmore serves his federal sentence at minimum security prison, working in the facility's accounting department for 23 cents per hour. The man who once controlled billions now depends on commissary purchases from his daughter's meager earnings. The Sterling Whitmore effect enters business school terminology as shorthand for how individual racism destroys institutional value. MBA programs worldwide require case study analysis of how 3 minutes of live-streamed hatred eliminated $3.7 billion in wealth. Victoria's court-mandated journal entries, published monthly as part of her sentence, provide insight into privilege's collision with accountability. Her reluctant transformation from entitled racist to humbled community servant becomes required reading in sociology courses. "I never understood dignity before losing mine," Victoria writes in her latest entry. "The communities I mocked with my privilege now teach me about character through their patience." The tech industry implements permanent changes based on CloudCore's moral leadership example. Industry associations require anti-discrimination commitments for membership. Investment funds screen leadership diversity before providing capital. Corporate diversity spending increased 340% across major industries following the Sterling Whitmore case, reports the Business Ethics Institute. Racism became the ultimate business liability. Damon establishes the Digital Equity Initiative, providing free cloud services to minority-owned businesses. CloudCore's success enables massive investment in communities historically excluded from tech opportunities. Technology should create opportunity, not barriers, Damon explains while announcing $500 million in community investments. CloudCore's growth allows us to democratize digital infrastructure access. Victoria's racist live stream generates over 100 million views across platforms, becoming the most viral business justice content in internet history. Her explicit skin color mockery, followed by immediate billion-dollar consequences, reshapes American conversations about accountability. The livestream proves that modern technology creates real-time consequences for discriminatory behavior, explains Dr. Patricia Johnson from the Civil Rights Institute. Victoria's case demonstrates that character matters more than inherited privilege. International business communities adopt Washington protocols requiring anti-discrimination compliance for trade relationships. Victoria's case influences policy in 47 countries, creating global standards for corporate behavior. Canadian, European, and Asian markets now screen American companies for racist leadership before approving partnerships. The Sterling Whitmore precedent protects international communities from discriminatory business practices. This story proves that racism destroys everything it touches, especially the racist. Damon reflects while reviewing CloudCore's quarterly earnings. Character determines success more than inheritance ever could. Victoria's transformation continues daily as community service exposes her to dignity she previously ignored. Her forced interaction with diverse communities gradually develops empathy that privilege systematically prevents. Share this story if you believe that accountability creates justice, regardless of wealth or social position. Follow for more cases proving that character matters more than bank accounts, and that technology empowers immediate consequences for discriminatory behavior. Comment below. Have you ever witnessed racism and wondered whether speaking up would make a difference? Victoria's live stream proved that in our connected world, discriminatory behavior faces swift consequences when good people demand accountability. What would you have done while watching that live stream? In today's interconnected economy, racist behavior triggers immediate consequences that privilege cannot shield or wealth cannot repair. The question isn't whether discrimination still exists, it's whether we choose courage over comfort when witnessing injustice unfold before our eyes.